How can you create a morning routine and stick to it consistently? By the end of this episode, you're going to learn what my morning routine is, how I came up with it, and the different questions that you can ask yourself in order to build out a routine for you that works for you and you'll actually do consistently. If this is your first time here, make sure you click the follow button on the Apple Podcast app or Spotify so you don't miss out on any of the future episodes. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. But today, we're going to learn about morning routines because morning routines often get a lot of attention, especially at the beginning of the year. And honestly, for good reason. Like, morning routines can be one of the most powerful ways to radically change your life. And that's not an overstatement. That's not an exaggeration. That is true. I know that I've experienced it myself. My morning routine has undoubtedly changed my life for the better. And if you find a good morning routine for you, I know you can experience the exact same way. So the way I want to talk about morning routines today and how to teach you how to create one for you that will work for you is by talking about how I came up with mine and what mine is, and then kind of giving you some question prompts at the end of the episode as well, and what those question prompts will allow you to come up with. So here are some of the parts of my morning routine that are absolutely critical. First is getting up to my first alarm, always and forever. First alarm. Number 2, drinking 12 to 16 ounces of water. Number 3, doing 3 to 5 minutes of my daily Bible app YouVersion. Number 4, write down 3 things I'm thankful for. Number 5, read for 45 minutes. Now let's go through them all one by one and break them down. The first one is getting up to my first alarm. I truly believe that if you're pressing snooze on your alarm, I believe that you're setting your day up for failure. Or you're at least setting it up to be a whole lot less optimal than it could otherwise be. Not only do you tactically lose time in your day when you press snooze, but you're also creating a mindset of not yet. You're creating a mindset of not this time, I'll do it later. And I don't care if it's health and fitness or your career or your relationships. This is not an attitude or a mindset that's going to lead you to the ultimate success that you desire. So get your butt out of bed in the morning to your first alarm with the mindset of I'm ready to start right now. Now, the second thing is I drink 12 to 16 ounces of water. Drinking water immediately flushes out your system and gives you a rejuvenated and refreshed feeling to start off the day. And it gets you on track to hitting optimal hydration levels, which should be around half of your body weight in ounces, plus 16 ounces for every hour of exercise that you complete that day. The third thing that I do is I do 3 to 5 minutes of my daily Bible app, YouVersion. Now, I'm somebody who believes in God. I'm somebody who lives out the idea that faith is a top priority in my life. And I believe a good way to continually prove to myself that my faith and my God are a top priority is to make them one of the very first things that I do in my day. But it's not something that takes me a ton of time or a ton of effort or anything like that. It's pretty darn convenient for me to execute on a daily basis on this YouVersion app. And one of the things that I love is they count a streak for you for how many days in a row that you do it. And y'all know I love something that gives me sort of a scoreboard and gives me some sort of sense of progress. The next thing I do is I write down 3 things that I'm thankful for. This is something that's been in my routine for at least 6+ years by now. And I always say that it's potentially one of the most transformative things that I do. Because I really believe that when you start your day with gratitude, when you start your day thinking about and identifying some things that you're thankful for, you're putting your brain and you're rewiring your brain to be more grateful throughout the day and identify more things throughout the day that you are thankful for. Sometimes what I'm thankful for is super deep. Sometimes it's surface level, sometimes it's goofy, but it always puts me in a better mood. Then to kind of finish off my morning routine, I always read for 45 minutes. I know for me personally, education is a huge value and priority of mine. I always have a huge list of books that I'm wanting to read and get to so that I can learn how to be more successful in my life, my career, my finances, my relationships, my spiritual life, and everything. While I hated reading in high school and college, I hated it. I can honestly say that reading is one of my favorite, if not my favorite hobbies that I do. Now, those are some of the biggest aspects of my morning routine and that have been transformative in my life. So the question is, how can you form one that is transformative in your life and that you'll actually stick to? Because at the beginning of the year, a lot of people have great ideas of wanting to exercise, wanting to stretch, wanting to drink more water, wanting to read, you name it. Wanting to pray, wanting to meditate, wanting to journal, all these things. but they don't actually stick to it for a long time. And the first thing that I would say is a lot of times people look to adopt and implement something into a morning routine that they just see somebody else do. And if you're just doing it because somebody else is doing it, that why is not big enough to get you to be consistent with it. So the why behind implementing each of these things has to be personal to you. You can't do something just because I do something. You might be consistent with it for a little bit of time, but you're not going to be consistent with it long lasting. Like every single one of those things that I listed as part of my morning routine, you can hear my passion and energy behind it. You can hear that I have a strong reason that that thing is in there for a reason, and you need to feel the same way about whatever it is that you're implementing into your morning routine. So you have to have a big enough why. I also want to present you with a few other questions to consider. Number one is, what area or areas of your life do you want your morning routine to support? Like, do you want your morning routine to support your health, your personal life, your career, your finances, your spiritual life, and your relationships? Now, my personal morning routine has a good mix of positively impacting a lot of those areas in some small ways and in some big ways. And I'd have you start there. I'd be like, which area of my life do I want to implement into my morning routine? And I would be wary of saying all of them, because a lot of you will say like, well, I want my morning routine to impact all of them. Well, it probably can't impact all of them, at least not right away. So maybe pick 1, 2, maybe 3 to look to improve by adding something into your morning routine. Second thing to consider is, how much time do you have available? Like, doing all of those things that I mentioned in my morning routine takes me about 75 to 90 minutes from the time that I wake up. Now, that requires me personally in my lifestyle to wake up at 2:55 a.m. on days that I coach a 5 a.m. class, and anywhere from 3 to 4 a.m. on days that I don't teach a 5 a.m. class. So what do you have time for? Do you only have time for a 10-minute morning routine, 30-minute morning routine, 45 minutes, or 2 hours? Like, adjust what you look to fit in your morning routine based off of the time that you have available. A third question is, what would you enjoy doing consistently? What things would provide you with a sense of meaning and purpose? Like I said, all aspects of my morning routine either provide me with meaning, purpose, or enjoyment, or all three of those things. And that's what allows me to be so consistent with them day in and day out. That's what allows me to wake up to my first alarm every single day. Like, I look forward to knocking out my morning routine because I know that I either enjoy it, or it provides me with meaning, or it provides me with growth or whatnot. Now, remember, you don't always have to thoroughly enjoy every action that you do, but you must be able to tie it to a bigger purpose if you want to stay consistent with it. And then lastly, what is a good amount to start with? If you want to read in your morning routine, but you currently don't read at all, then don't try to read for 45 minutes. Read for 5, 10, 15, or 20. If you're not exercising at all and you're looking to exercise in your morning routine, don't do it 5 days a week for an hour. Maybe try 3 days a week for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or 5 days a week for 10 minutes. Like, find a level of time that is appropriate for you based off of where you're coming from and the time that you have available. So you need to make it more realistic. Like, if you're wanting to add push-ups, let's say, in your morning routine, then don't say you're going to do 100 every single morning. Start off with 10, or start off whatever works best for you, because you want to form the habit of showing up for that behavior first, and then you can optimize that behavior and increase it over time. Now, to kind of conclude today, as I said before, a good morning routine can be absolutely life-changing. If you find activities to implement in your routine that you will do consistently, and that when done consistently, they provide you with compounding results, then your morning routine will be truly transformative in your life. So if you don't have a solid morning routine, I recommend that you get going with one, because you are not what you do in isolation. You are what you do repeatedly. The habits that you do every day, they often seem mundane, but they make up the bulk of your life, and they make up the bulk of truly who you are. So get the things that you do every single day right, and you'll love the results that you see in your life. If you'd like to implement more exercise in your morning routine, or you feel like you need some more structure around your day, then the 10-week transformation could be a great way to kickstart that. From January 28th to January 22nd to March 28th, we'll have the next 10-week transformation. You can join in person in Nashville or virtually from anywhere today by going to nickcarrier.com/10WT. Again, if you're looking for a kickstart, if you're looking for some structure, if you're looking for motivation, accountability, support, the 10-week transformation will provide you with exactly that. It will provide you with the guidance that you need so you can become the person you want to become, and you can change the way that you look in the mirror and the way that you see yourself in the mirror. So join today. We start January 22nd by going to nickcarrier.com/10WT. I hope today helps you build a morning routine, achieve your health and fitness goals, and ultimately get you closer and closer to your best you.